Hey boys, it's Marty Boyle here. I was asked by Sharon and Marianne to talk about Selwyn House basketball in general and the elementary basketball program in particular. I guess we should start from the beginning. In 1990, when I arrived at Selwyn House, Alfie Paletti, the guru of basketball, was coaching the juvenile team in the grade 5-6 team. So he quickly asked me to help out with the elementary basketball team, and as a new teacher, you can't say no at Selwyn House, so I gladly accepted. Alfie went on to tell me, he says, you do a couple of years in elementary school, next thing you know, you'll be at the Bantam level, progress up to midget, and then you'll probably be assistant coach in 10 years with me at juvenile. Alf, I've been waiting by the phone for 31 years now, and I have not got the call. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I've had a great experience coaching elementary basketball. I've coached many of you guys in the past, and I can go back, and my memory serves me correctly. I believe that Colin played basketball for me in grade 6 in 1992, I think. And I'm not sure if Toby or not played. My memory is not that good, but I just remember Colin being one of the all-time offensive rebounders in Selwyn House history. Now you have to think of Colin. He was probably 5'10" in grade 6 and weighed 120 pounds. And he had calves the size of cantaloupes. And they weren't even calves, they were cows, they were so big. And there's an asterisk next to that record because Colin wasn't the best shooter in basketball, even though he was right underneath the basket boxing out. He was ragdolling kids from every other school. He was such a physical specimen. But for every basket he made, he probably took 10 shots and he got 6 offensive rebounds. So that's one of the records that Colin holds. Colin and Toby, as you both know, are two of the best guys that ever came out of Selwyn House. They're glue guys, as we call them in the sport, in the business. You can't have a team without them. Those guys are the chemistry guys. Not only were they great, they were built for contact sports, football, basketball. They were tanks, and they would do anything for you. They're coachable. Their teammates loved them. So we have a lot of respect, and we really appreciate having Colin and Toby come through the Selwyn House program. As we go through Selwyn basketball over the years, we often think of we talk about the all-Madden football team. We also talk about the all-time elementary basketball team. And a lot of players come to mind right away when I think of it. And I'll give you a few names. Now, obviously, I'm going to leave some of you out. And if I left you out, I apologize. You should be in there. So I would think of Phil the Thrill Clark, a fantastic point guard. And I think he still does a lot to do with the old boys basketball. Kevin Paul, KP, another great point guard, came from the West Island Lakers. I've got Mark Sadaka, whose claim to fame is he scored 54 points in a game for Mr. McCarney, and he beat Herzliya High School 58-54, and he got 54 points. Now, to his credit, nobody else on that team could shoot or score, so he's not a hog. The offense was built around him. They had one other player on the team, was Dino Zamet, but Dino Zamet couldn't hit a layup in an ocean, but he was the best defensive player we had. On a full court press, he can go everywhere. Dino, you're getting a shout out because I know that you're a plastic surgeon now, and I need probably a little bit of work somewhere here or there, and Gov needs calf implants and probably some other work as well. Going down the road, we also have Noah Daou and Davey Smith. That was a year that we went undefeated for the year. We won the Selwyn House Invitational Tournament, as we affectionately call it, the SHIT. We went on to Upper Canada College for 16-team tournament, which was a fantastic tournament. We won there. Then we won the LCC tournament. We won our league, and we won the playoffs. We won 30-0. So that was a team and players that bring to mind. Connor O'Brien was another one. Malcolm Pennell, Dylan Brophy. I got Adrian Shower. Those are just some of the names, and there's a lot more, but those are some of them that I remember. And as I get older, my memory is not what it used to be. And I guess lastly, I'd like to give a shout out to Joel Anthony for volunteering to help out with the Colin No Classic on Zoom this year. For those of you who don't know, I've known Joel since he's 5 years old. I had the pleasure of working with his mother at LaSalle Protestant High School from 1985 to 89. And you're not going to find a finer lady. She was amazing with the kids. She was organized, hardworking. Everything that you hear about Joel from his teammates in the NBA to his coaches, same with his mom. So you realize that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's where his role model was, and that's where he learned his work ethic. So on behalf of the Selwyn House Phys Ed Department, welcome to the Zoom 2021 Colin No Classic, and hopefully next year we're there and we can have a couple of beer and have some laughs. And you can complain to me about not being on the all-Boyle basketball team. Cheers.
Hey everyone, let me just start by saying how much I miss seeing everyone in person. I've been attending the Colin every year since my graduation, and it really is fun to reconnect with former teammates as well as guys that have come up through the program either before or after me. I really do hope we can get this going back in person sometime soon, and I'm grateful for all of you that have shown up. Selwyn House basketball has had a huge impact on my life, as I'm sure it has for a lot of you. Being an attendee of Marty and Colin's basketball camp was one of the main reasons that I chose to attend Selwyn House. I got the fortune of playing for a lot of good coaches. Pete Govan, Matt McCarney, Colin Boyle, Alfie Pauletti instilled in us a lot of strong values that I carry forward as a coach today. Sportsmanship, being a hard worker both in practice and in games, and also being a good teammate are all things that I valued as a player, and now I value as a coach. And it's kind of come full circle now being the head coach of the juvenile basketball team, that I hope I can instill those same values in the players that I coach. I'm really happy with where our program is headed. I think we've got a great coaching staff at the school. And what I love to encourage is all of our alumni. Our home schedules are always online, and it'd be great to start to build that type of relationship with you guys, to have you come back to our gyms to watch our current athletes play, maybe even to come back and speak to our athletes about your experiences as a basketball player at the school. Because Selwyn House basketball, like I said, is one big family, and I hope that we can create that type of culture going forward. So I hope everybody has a great evening, and I look forward to talking to you in person.
Listen, first of all, welcome everybody. It's great to see everybody. And one of the nice things about a pandemic that we've learned is in these Zoom calls, we get all kinds of people that we don't normally get at these kinds of tournaments. This is fantastic. I don't think I saw Juicy. I wanted to point out I went through the list of who was coming tonight, and I apologize if I missed something. I don't know if you know this, Juice, who is supposed to be here tonight, is a new dad. And Dino, who I think Dino's here, and Alec, there's a new Zamet coming to the school next year in kindergarten. So it's Dino's going to be a Selwyn parent. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the class of 97. I thought it was a fantastic class. This is a Colin's class. In fact, I saw Ajay there. I got to apologize to Ajay. I still feel bad. Ajay, if you remember your first year in grade 7, when you walked into my class, I called you AJ. So sorry about that. And I hope Joel can hear me, because last night we had the old boys board meeting, and Weisenthal talked on and on about how he can drive on you without any problems whatsoever. So I'd love to see the two of you at the old boys basketball. That would be fantastic. I actually thought I would tell a hockey story, because there's a few hockey guys here. The scariest moment of my life at Selwyn House was with the hockey team. When you guys from 97 were in grade 7. If you remember that year, we went to Stansted for a game, and when we got back, Mr. Morvich wasn't feeling well. So the next morning I went to pick him up, and he couldn't come to school. So I went to school without him, and that was when Mike got quite sick. But that day we had a hockey game. So this would have been guys like Brooks and Massey, and I saw those two guys here, and I think Nicky Yanos here. We went to Jean to play. Now, the way that bus licenses work in Quebec is all you got to do is go write a 30-question questionnaire to pass. And you can't drive a bus until you pass the test. So I passed the test in 1990. This was 1993. 3 years later, I've never driven a school bus in my life. And we're going to Jean. Now I'm from the West Island. Jean is in Rosemount, right? Like that's an area West Island guys never go to. And it's a snowstorm. And Mitch, Steve Mitchell says, it's easy. You get on the highway, you take Notre Dame and you take a left on Peanuff and then a left on Rosemount and you're right there. Not good. I'm on the bus by myself with a bunch of grade 7 boys and they're not always quiet or paying attention. If you're on Peanuff, you can never turn left, by the way, just for the record. At one point, we got stuck in a snowbank, which don't tell the risk management people, but I made the team get out of the bus and push. Anyway, we lost that game. It wasn't pretty, but anyway, that was my most scariest moment of selling. The other thing I wanted to bring was this is a Colin thing. Does anybody recognize that? I think Toby should. I think is Brooksy here. I think Brooksy should. There was 4 guys from the grade 11 class, and Colin was one of the 4 guys who bought me this. This is actually sat in my office. First the Oasis, followed by the my office, which would for you guys would have been old Mr. Waring's office. And sorry, when I say old Mr. Waring, not that he was old, his office, and now it's in the headmaster's office. This you guys gave me on the last day of school when you guys were in grade 11 to thank me for. Or I don't know why you gave it to me, but I appreciate it. It's one of my most valued possessions. I think Bellini was involved in that too. And there is a Bellini in the school, by the way, not a Roberto Bellini, but a Carlos Bellini's son. Anyway, listen, tournament's going on for 17 years. Thanks very much for the support from the class of 97. It's great to see all you guys here. It was one of my favorite classes. Great to see you guys. Great to see the rest of you as well. And welcome to the tournament. Now let me turn it over to Mr. Mike Morovich.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. And it's great to have this tournament in some fashion and form. It's really, really important to the school and certainly the legacy of basketball at the school. It's nice to have 2 of our most legendary coaches and, Alf Paletti and Colin Boyle here with us. Both guys who were, instrumental in the growth of basketball and handing it over to a really fine group of coaches we have now. Gov has always been the everyone's co-pilot and always a big supporter of basketball, and I think he'll always continue to be. And very fortunate that he's a guy who does whatever we need him to do at school, and I continue to cherish the time with him. And if the basketball program needs him, he's there, right there for it. Now we're in a great position. As Alfie came to the end of his career and John started his career, our senior basketball program in the last 5 years has gone to the finals 3 times. And that's a huge step for a small school like ours. And it's a tribute to what's being done. Oliver Morovich and Matt Adona coached 2 years ago, took the U13 team, which is generally won by 2 schools in Canada for the last several years. They took that team to Calgary, and we won the national championship at U13. And that's huge. So that speaks to the development of the program. They remain at the Bantam level. Brendan Munzar and Kevin Boyle, old boys, guys who were, Kevin was a champion here. Brendan played on some great teams. I think he was on a midget championship team with John. They run the midget program, and that's just, again, another step in the growth of our basketball program. And then John and Matt Adona run the senior team. That's our Division I teams. We also have Division III teams now as a JV program, and we're very fortunate to have our university guidance person who replaced Pat Shannon, Mr. Tim Lane, who's a graduate and a player from Bowdoin. He's up here coaching. He coached the championship team in New England at Hotchkiss, and we're fortunate to have him with us here. And he coaches at the JV level. So you can see that the basketball program is in great hands. And, John pilots a really solid group of coaches and dedicated men who, followed the example of Alfie and Pete and Colin, and we continue to grow in the basketball program. So we're doing good things, and, we're keeping the school on the map and, making a statement, and guys are improving. And in this pandemic, believe it or not, in pods, we managed to run basketball. So today Kevin ran pod practice. I think it was at grade 8. One was at 9. We'll have the 10s tomorrow and the 11s. So we're figuring it out and keeping the program going and keeping the tradition strong. One last thing I will say is I love the old boys on Wednesday night. I think it's huge part of including our alumni in the basketball program. And when this is all over, we'll get back to the old boys basketball on Wednesdays, and we're happy to host you. So thanks, guys, for all your contribution. Thanks to Toby for making sure that this is all part of our Selwyn House basketball legacy, and it keeps going. Thanks to Sharon and Marianne. We appreciate this. And thanks to all you guys for your ongoing contribution. So I appreciate it. And I think I'm turning it over to Sharon.
Hi, all. It's a blast from the past here to say hello and welcome. I'm happy to be back here at Selwyn House, working alongside Marianne Clordy and Richard Wills in the advancement office and JP in the tech office. It's really a lot of fun to see you all you boys again. You're all grown up, kind of, well, physically maybe, but you've matured. I thought I'd give a little history on the basketball tournament for those of you who don't know. We were all struck with sadness in 2002 when we learned that Colin had died of an aneurysm. And as alumni director then, I remember working with many of you and with Jamie McMillan to launch the first alumni basketball tournament in 2004 and naming it for Colin. And 17 old boys joined that first event. And it's great to see I think there were about 7 of those original players here tonight. And I think over 100 different players have played over the past 17 years. So that's really exciting. And I know more and more will join in future years. Another amazing thing that came from such a terrible tragedy is that Colin's classmates and others established the Colin No 97 Memorial Fund in 2005. And $303,638 has been raised to date for student bursaries through that fund, which is fantastic. Thank you to those of you who have supported this fund and those who may do so in the future. Each and every donation made, no matter the size, is making a real difference in the lives of the students. And these are the boys who couldn't attend Selwyn House without financial assistance. This endowed fund grows every year as the capital is reinvested, and then a percentage of the investment income earned is dispersed as bursaries. So I'm pleased to say that an average of $11,000 is dispersed annually. So I'd like to now pass the mic over to Josh again to introduce Colin's twin brother, Toby, and also former NBA player Joel Anthony, class of 99. And before I do that, I just wanted to mention another family fund that was established, this in honor of Joel and his mother, Irene, in 2014, also continues to grow. So as both of these funds increase, so do the disbursements. So it's a really wonderful basketball legacy, old boys helping boys to get a Selwyn education. A really wonderful story. Over to you, Josh.
Thanks so much, Sharon. Before I introduce Toby, I just want to thank everybody from the Old Boys Association for coming tonight. One of the things, there were a lot of transitions in 2020. Jamie McMillan retired, and obviously the pandemic really changed the way that we pursue our outreach. Ultimately, at the Old Boys Association board level, we really focus on the fact that we represent the interests of our constituents, which are the many thousand old boys worldwide. So we're, I think Mike Downey mentioned this, we're really happy with the level of engagement of everybody in a virtual environment. So notwithstanding the fact that we can't do these events in person this year, participation has been really good, and we've reconnected with a lot of interesting old boys. So I'll turn it over to Toby No from the class of 97 to say just a few words and introduce himself.
Thanks, Josh. So, hey, everyone. Sharon asked me to say a few words about Colin. I just want to point out before, though, that I'm glad we could do this all on Zoom and get a lot of people on here that wouldn't normally be able to participate. So I want a special mention to Lorenzo Bustani, all the way from Brazil. I think he's the furthest guy away on this call. So glad he could make it. So yeah, I think a lot of you on this call know Colin or knew Colin. We were classmates, but even the grades above and below us, I think we had a lot of interaction with Colin. So even guys like Joel, I don't know if you remember, but playing pickup basketball in the Macaulay gym during recess. I don't know if you remember, I swatted you a couple of times personally, but so guys below us, guys above us too, guys like Adrian Shower. So there was a lot of people that knew Colin, and but for those who didn't, Selwyn was so important to Colin, and we were both lifers. He died at 22, so removed the first couple of years as a newborn, and he spent the majority of his life, and certainly the most important years of his life, at Selwyn. So to say we both truly enjoyed our experience at Selwyn would be a gross understatement. So other than academics, we really established meaningful and permanent relationships while we were at Selwyn, with both classmates and staff. And we really grew up to become well-mannered young adults at Selwyn. So Colin really enjoyed playing all the sports, football, basketball, rugby. And basically, I think it's his love for sports is what led the class of '97 and Selwyn House to really try to keep his memory alive by establishing this yearly basketball tournament. And this vehicle, it's so important, especially the fund. Helps provide other young boys the opportunity to experience what Colin did and what he loved so much. And so I know that my family and I are really grateful for the existence of this event and the fund. And we hope that Selwyn can continue to thrive and really do a lot of great things and extend its reach all over the world. It's always prideful for me to watch and hear of Selwyn alum doing great things all over the place, whether it's the many doctors who are saving lives, or Joel Anthony playing in the NBA, Torrey Mitchell in the NHL, or most recently Nicholas Johnson becoming Princeton's first ever Black valedictorian. So I know if Colin were among us today, he would feel just as proud as I do, and he'd be definitely humbled by everyone's presence here on the call tonight. It's a really great turnout. So want to just personally thank everyone for taking the time to be here.
Thanks so much, Toby. Before we move to the informal part of the reunion, I just want to take a minute to introduce Joel formally. So Joel and I counted this out, Joel. We've known each other, been friends now for 27 years, which is insane. We met in the fall of our grade 7 year. We took the train together to school every year. I'll spare the details except to say that he was at my bar mitzvah and he gave me a book called Great Jews in Sports. That's a fact. I'll go through Joel's formal resume, but one of the things that I do want to stress to everybody is what has made me most proud of being Joel's friend over the past close to 30 years is to see the kind of person that he's become. So, there's a lot of focus on one aspect of his life, which is obviously his basketball career, but Joel is among my favorite classmates from Selwyn House. He's extremely generous, and the quality of person that he is with his wife Jess and his daughter Jade really kind of speaks to who he is as a person. And I think somebody mentioned his mother, Irene, who's also just a really fantastic person. She spoke at the 2013 Griffin Gala. It was a really moving speech, which ended up leading to that scholarship fund in Joel and Irene's name. So just quickly, Joel was at Selwyn from grade 7 to grade 9. He transferred to Emmanuel Christian, which was closer to his home in Dollard. And from there, he went to Dawson, where he did not make the AAA basketball team his first year. I think he made AA. Joel, correct me if I'm wrong. And then he was recruited to go to a junior college in Florida. And from there received a full basketball scholarship to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where he made it to, I want to say, the round of 32 in March Madness, if not the round of 16. From there, Joel signed as a free agent with the Miami Heat in 2007, and he played with the Heat until 2014. He was part of their two-time world championship teams with the big three, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. From there, he was traded to Boston and then played for Detroit under Stan Van Gundy for a couple of years, and then San Antonio with Greg Popovich, and then finally went to camp with the Milwaukee Bucks. The last 2 years of his career were spent in Argentina, where he won consecutive championships. And he was also a longtime member of Team Canada in various like Olympic campaigns and world championships and that. And just speaking off the cuff, I think that a lot of the success that Basketball Canada has had at the international level right now, and the quality of players that are being produced from Canada and going into the NBA was really spearheaded by guys like Joel. So when Joel played for the national team, they did not have a broad selection of NBA players, but he was consistent in going to every tournament, big or small, and leading that team. So I think that, like I said, it speaks to the quality of person that Joel is, his loyalty, his dedication, his ability to be a good friend, a good teammate, and a good classmate. So I'll leave it at that. Joel, I don't know if you have anything to add. I was just icing my knees before this meeting, and I was dead serious last night with respect to what Mike Downey said. That I want to qualify, by the way, by saying that in middle school, Joel and I were the same height. We were both 5'4", and so it was a bit more of a level playing field at that time.
Thanks. Thanks, Josh, for those kind words. Some a little bit might have embellished a little bit about what you said yesterday, but that's all right. I just want to say I'm really happy to be here. It's great to be able to see all of so many different faces and names that I've are really part of my childhood, part of my upbringing. To me, Mr. Boyle, to see Mr. Morovich, obviously like Toby, and even Kevin, as older guys that like we looked up to when we were when we were going to school there. So just really happy to be over here. And of course, can't forget about you, Mr. Govin. I don't know, there's a bunch of people out here, so I'd have to look through. But I'm just really happy to get a chance to be here and to be around you all. It's kind of fun to me, kind of going back into the past like this, and just looking forward to this.
Awesome, thanks.
This is a great event. Like honestly, I'm so happy you guys got to do anything. I think since the original Colin No tournament, I think I've attended most of them, and maybe missed 1 year. I was in Lebanon, and another year, maybe last year. But honestly, this is a great, really just a great event to honor his memory. And just the bursary too that is in his name is probably an even more amazing thing that we do to honor his memory, because he was such a helpful guy, and he was so selfless and constantly helping everyone. And lucky enough to know him and stay in touch with him after Selwyn, and Toby and I have become extremely good friends since Selwyn House, along with a couple of other guys here in the 97 class. So this is a great event that Selwyn runs, and such a big part of our lives. And really, this was great. I hope I see you all at the tournament next year. Good to see everybody.
Plus 35 category too, Ziad.
Yeah, pull that off. I'll go pick up Toby from the South Shore and bring him myself.
All right, good. Good.
All right, guys, take care.
Okay, good night,
Thanks,
Ziad.
thanks,
Good
Ian.
night, Ziad.
I was just going to mention, I know people have to go, but Oliver Morovich, is he still on? I don't think so.
No,
He's offering, as is EJ Boffey, to see what interest there is for an online gaming night, a regular night for people who want to play basketball. So if you are interested, let one of us know, and we'll get that info to those guys.